All right, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Elliott with Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we are gonna jump into some new territory, I guess. We're gonna react to Andy Lewicky's review of the Atomic Maverick 100 Ti. Now, this is a ski I reviewed. I ski daily on the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. So, Andy, we're gonna put you to the test. We're gonna react to your review of a ski I'm super familiar with. I loved your review on the Bent 100. I thought it was very honest, very straightforward. So today we're gonna put you through the ring a little bit here and see what you thought of the Maverick 100 Ti. Before we do that, let's jump into some comments and yeah, give you guys some updates, and then we'll jump into the reaction. So lots of comments, and in fact I get emails, comments daily, people asking for ski recommendation. So if you are coming to me asking for a ski recommendation, let me give you kind of some free advice going into that. Give me as much detail as you're comfortable giving so that I can make a good recommendation. And then just know if you're asking between two skis and I haven't skied on that ski, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you, hey, I haven't skied that ski. I get a lot of requests for the head core, and I have skied on the head I rally, but I've not skied on the head core. They're on my list to review for this coming winter, but I just wanna be honest with you. I'm not gonna say, oh, I don't like that ski or something, you know. I've never skied on the head core, so I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know anything about that ski, and I don't want you to get a ski that I haven't actually demoed or reviewed. If you want kind of the best response from me, give me the most details possible. I get some people saying, oh, what do you like, the Salomon QST or the Atomic Maverick? And it's like, well, what are you using it for? Tell me where you were at, you know, kind of what level skier you are, what you like in a ski. The more details you give me, the better I can help you. And also understand, sometimes I can't get to all of it. You know, I'll get an email at 2 o'clock in the morning and asking me for a ski recommendation. And it's like, you gotta give me enough information, and just understand too, I'm a person. You know, I get to it as quick as I can. I'll try my best, you know, and as always, I always tell people, if you get the chance, try the skis. That's the best way to tell. But I can kind of give you the pluses and minuses, and if I've already talked about those two skis side by side, or if I've talked about both the skis independently, I may just send you a link so I can kind of navigate you in the right direction. It seems like all the people I've got in the comments are super nice, super friendly, and just really passionate about skiing, which is what I love. So this is really exciting. I'm not gonna spill the details too much. I had reached out to Ski Essentials to see if they wanted to kind of collab or if they were interested at all. And I was like, I don't know if you guys have heard of me. I have this YouTube channel, Rickety Ski Lifts. And the person who emailed me back goes, oh yes, we know who you are, we watch your content. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so cool. So I don't know if anything's gonna come from that. The people were super nice, but I was very flattered that they've watched some of the videos. If you're seeing this video, anyone over at Ski Essentials, open invitation. I'd be more than happy to work with you guys. You all seem very cool. I don't know, I was just pleased as peaches that they'd seen it at all. Not super important to today's video, but I thought it was cool. Anyway, let's get into Andy Lewicky. Now for some background, Andy is a reviewer that I've praised a lot. I've always kind of said that I'm a big fan of his just because I like how no nonsense he is with his reviews. I feel like he gives the good and the bad, although he doesn't lean into the bad as heavily as I wish he would. I think the last review I saw, he didn't really like the Atomic Bent, and then he said, oh, well, maybe it was just the ski. And he's reviewing the Atomic Maverick 100 Ti. Now, the Atomic Maverick 100 Ti is kind of an interesting ski. I like that ski a lot, especially if you're looking for a powder ski that can also carve. It doesn't have the responsiveness that the Atomic Maverick 88 or 95 have. Just that extra width kind of rounds out those turns more, and you have to be a little bit more patient with how long it takes for your turn to kind of catch and set in. But that being said, if you're looking for, you know, kind of the one ski quiver, which doesn't really exist, but if you were looking for something that could do powder and carve, that's a nice ski. If you only care about carving sometimes, but you really want a ski that you can get into the woods and float on the big powder, maybe you're in Utah, something like that with big open lines, I think the Atomic Maverick 100 Ti is a very nice ski. I think I gave it like a 9 or 9.1, somewhere in there. It is an excellent ski. Now, as I mentioned before, not as responsive as the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. If you care more about carving, 88 Ti might be a good option. Or if you already have a designated powder ski and you don't need it to do both things, I would maybe again lean towards the 95 Ti or the 88 Ti. But these are still darn nice skis. And this is a ski people don't think about when they think about powder and Atomic. They think of the backland. They think of the bent. They don't think about The Maverick, it's kind of been pigeonholed into this carving area, but if you want carving and powder, these are chef's kiss, one of the best skis I skied this year. Atomic Maverick 100 Ti, I like the ski. It has its limits, right? That wider base limits it for sure, but a very nice ski nonetheless. All right, now that I've got that out of the way, let's see what Andy thinks and we'll jump into the video. And here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome back to Mammoth Mountain. It's day 2 of the WWSRA on snow demo. You know, the purpose of this event is for ski shops to make their purchasing decisions for next fall, so they get to check out the new gear, figure out what they want to stock up in their shop with, and also, you know, familiarize themselves with it so that when they talk to you, they can tell you what they thought of it.
Oh God. Okay, Andy, in your Atomic Bent video, I praised you for using the slow chair because you didn't get that rattling. That high-speed quad rattling at the towers, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Not a big deal here, but man, if I had headphones on, it's a little bit brutal. So, I don't know. That's just my feedback. Not anything ski related, but man, those high-speed quads really, really rattle in the viewer's ears. I had the same thing. You can, if you look at like my very early reviews, I'm doing it on the chairlift, and boy, it was a nightmare to edit. So, I don't know, just a little bit of feedback.
So anyway, we're on still on the all mountain category. We're gonna switch to touring in a couple skis more here. And the ski of the day, the first one is Atomic's Maverick 100. Let's take a look at it.
Oh my God, that's such a great ski to start with. A 100 Ti, when you're about to try a bunch of different skis, it's almost like too good to start. You want to start with something middle. I guess you didn't know, you know, you don't know going into it.
There it is right there. A fairly traditional shape overall, and I will say this one has surprised me a little bit. I was expecting more versatility out of it. And instead, I would say this feels more like a long radius specialist to me.
God, that is an awful sound. It feels like a long radius ski because it's so wide. Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying with like the big mountains. It feels like it would be really perfect if you were like out on Snowbird or something. I think this would be the perfect ski because it's got that width to give you the kind of the powder option, but also it's responsive and it does turn well. You have to be a little patient, but it's not that bad. Like, it's not that big of a radius turn. It still feels very responsive, and it feels a lot more responsive than most other skis I was on. So, I don't know. What he's feeling there is definitely real, but I don't know if I felt it to that extent. You just have to be really mindful of starting your next turn early. But you can totally work around it. If you're a really like strong skier, I had no problems with it.
If you get the ski into its preferred turn radius, I think it's absolutely outstanding. One of the best I've tried in this width in terms of the balance of edge grip, the skis feel fore and aft, its release, the edge release across the fall line, just overall kind of the intangible sum of the experience. It's a really pleasant ski. Really likes to go fast.
Yeah, I think that was really beautifully put. It is a really beautiful turn. The other thing he's maybe not mentioning that he'll get into later, but if you're used to that vantage turn, it's that beautiful vantage turn with a little bit of pop in and out of it. Now, I would love to see him on the Maverick 88 Ti because a lot of those kind of long radius turns where you have to give the ski time, that vanishes with the 88 Ti. And with this ski, if you were kind of alternating your pressure, you could get around that. But it is a really beautiful turn, and it really loads into the turn and it pops out of it, while being a fairly light ski, especially with the Titanal in it. But I agree with him 100%. I mean, there's a couple things where, you know, maybe he's feeling it based on his ski style a little bit more than I felt it, but overall, I think he's right on the money. These are very, very nice skis.
Has a lot of that Austrian racy feel about it, but it's very well mannered and never makes me feel like I'm fighting it. So within that preferred radius, you know, a long, fast GS turn, I like this one a lot.
I would agree with that. The ski's never doing anything where it's like gonna try to start the turn early, or it's gonna try to shoot the skis out from under you. It's a very patient ski. It really changes its shape based on how much pressure you have. So I've seen people say like, oh, it's really only an expert ski. And I don't know if that's true. I think it's a good ski if you know how to load pressure into your boot, but everybody should be doing that. So, you know, if you're feeling like these feel a little weird, try to just really focus on the pressure of your boot to change its shape, because it's a very, very responsive ski. And if you're somebody who really like thinks with your feet and kind of feels your turns out, this is a very rewarding ski.
When I try to get more versatility out of it in terms of turn shape, the ski gets unhappy fairly quickly. So that's a weakness. I do feel like it's just not a short radius carver. You know, I tried to take it on some different kinds of terrain. I took it up on the...
I don't know. I don't want to be rude, but that might be a ski pressure thing. If you're not loading it all the way, it doesn't like to slarve its turns. Also, you're in a 100, which is a fairly wide ski for the groomers. So I get what he's saying, like it's not as responsive, but if you really load it, it has no problem getting like little turns in. You just have to be kind of patient with it, and like I said, start preloading the next ski. It sounds like he's loading it, sitting on the turn a little bit long, and in that way he would get that feeling. But if you load it and then start loading your next ski, kind of preloading the ski into the next turn, you can get quick turns out of this. I mean, if you watch my review, you see Zach skiing on it. He skied on it in the park. You know, we're both making quick turns. Probably not like slalom turns on the 100. I would say the 88 Ti you could get slalom turns out of, maybe even like halfway between slalom and GS turns on the 95. But, you know, I'll be honest, yeah, it probably isn't the best like slalom turn. I don't know that the ski gets unhappy. It needs time to bring the ski all the way around, because it's a very pressure-based ski. But I would much rather have that than the ski not giving me my energy back out. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's gonna do short radius turns on the groomers, not a great option. But if you're in the trees, I had no problem like getting it to kind of swash around when I needed it. It just depends on where you're at. But you know, what do you want? I don't know. Like, I'm assuming he's like on a 176, 182, and 100 millimeters underfoot. You can't have it all. I don't think he's saying anything wrong, but I don't know. When I got on a ski that wide, I just didn't expect anything like that, I guess.
Face and tried to make quick turns on steeper pitches, and it does it for sure, but it's just not the ski's thing.
Yeah, totally. I know what he's talking about. Yeah, you have to have enough pressure. Like when you're at a steeper angle, it's a little easier to build your pressure quicker, and then they do get around. But if you're just on the flats, yeah, it's hard to make a slalom turn on a ski that big.
You know, I'm going to recommend this for those of you who are kind of like in the bona fide niche. You know, you like that kind of ski, that big, heavy, fast feel. Maybe you're a heavier rider yourself in terms of body weight, and you just want a lot of ski underneath you. You might like the quality of the release on these edges.
Yeah, and I would also say you don't have to be that heavy. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy, but I would say that I know people who rock on the ski, like Zach. Zach is not a big dude. He's certainly tall, but he's a pretty light guy, but he has great pressure. So this is the problem. People say weight, and weight does factor into it, but if you can really load the ski, this is a very rewarding ski for you. If you like pressure, if you like building pressure and releasing it. I don't know, just a small correction, but it does bother me when people only talk about weight, and then you say, oh, well, this person's lighter, they have to go on this ski. No, I know people who are small, like they're just not very tall and they're thin, and they are so athletic, they can load the ski. They're kind of masters of their craft when it comes to loading the boot and getting leverage. I would say it's for somebody who really likes to load a ski and load an arc.
I think the grip is just as tenacious as a bona fide, but it's a little bit better mannered when it comes to releasing from turn to turn and going into the new arc.
Yeah, and I love that he's comparing it to the Bonafide. I have not skied on the Bonafide, but I love it when people do that so that you know what to draw parallels to, because when you're trying to buy skis, it just can feel like you're kind of floating in outer space. So thank you, Andy, for comparing skis so that we, the audience, know what to compare it to. I'm not super familiar with the Bonafides, but I am familiar with Blizzard, and that tracks from what I know about Blizzard. I used to race on their slalom skis, and I've had some of the other skis of theirs, and that makes sense.
So that's what I think of the Maverick, and we will move on to a few more all-mountain skis before moving on to touring. All right, we're here at Mammoth.
I'm just making fun of the chairlift. It's so jarring. That's where I really don't like those high-speed quads. I've just given up to like recording on them at all because you get the wind and they just shake everything. Sometimes if I do it, I'll take like cuts between it because that's so jarring. And if you have headphones on, it doesn't feel good, but yeah. So in my opinion, someone needs to go ski with Andy. I bet he's a good skier. Everything he's saying tracks. He's got a good feel for the skis and what's going on. A+, 2 thumbs up, great review. Some of the stuff he's saying you can get around. You don't have to be a heavy skier to enjoy these skis. You can also just be somebody who really knows how to load a ski, who knows how to flex their boot well, who's athletic. It doesn't always have to be weight. Weight helps, but that's not everything. But this was a great review. I wish he talked a little bit more about who to recommend the ski to, because I think there is a group of people that would do really well. Like my friend Zach, who skis powder but also wants to carve every once in a while, but when he's carving his GS turns, I think he'd love the Maverick 100. I mean, he did. We tested it and reviewed it together. But somebody who's doing big mountain skiing where there's nice open turns, where you've got powder that you're kind of floating on, I think that this is a really excellent ski that totally goes under the radar. With the bent 100 and all these other kind of wide skis, it totally kind of gets forgotten. But it's a very responsive ski if you're gonna load it, and I think Andy did it justice. I think he did a good job speaking about its downsides, because that's the same thing I said. It feels like a great turn, but it's not as responsive as the 88 Ti. I've kind of said that the 88 Ti is my favorite version of that ski. I've done 88, 95, 100. And I think that if you were looking for like a one ski quiver, the 95 kind of does that well, because it's still pretty responsive, but it's got some good flotation too. And then the 100, the 100 is more powder oriented. If you're somebody who wants to spend more time in the trees and you still want to carve well. But I don't know. I think some of the stuff he was saying would just be based on like how much you're loading the ski, or how patient you're willing to be, or how you kind of time your turns out. But overall, very insightful, great review. Andy, you did not disappoint. You've skied on a ski that I'm super familiar with, and everything you said track. I've got a hunch that you're a good skier, or at least you're loading your downhill ski enough to understand this stuff. 2 thumbs up, way to go. As always, I'm very impressed with these reviews, love doing it, and he totally passed the test of a ski that I'm super familiar with. So, that all being said, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, you can like and subscribe. Make sure you're kind of getting all the content as it's pushed out. But more than anything, just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I really love how nice everyone is. And more than anything, I love making this kind of content. So if you want to see more, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure it all is kind of getting to you immediately. And yeah, as always, see you in the next one. See ya.